Hi everyone, this is Sherry from the blog OurLifeHomeschooling.com, where I post homeschooling encouragement for everyday moms. In this video, I'm going to be giving my best tips for homeschooling with a toddler in the house. So a few weeks ago, I did a video about homeschooling with a baby, and that can be a unique challenge because babies are unpredictable and you're not getting sleep sometimes through the night. In this video, I'm going to talk about homeschooling with a toddler, and to be completely honest, I think homeschooling with a toddler is much more difficult than having a baby. Toddlers are into everything, they pull things out, they dump things. They have a short attention span. You got about 10 minutes and then they're on to the next thing. They're at the stage where they're testing the boundaries and, they're going towards that dangerous thing or whatever it is that you want to keep them away from, and you tell them no, and they look at you and then they reach for it, and it's just, they're little monkeys. And so homeschooling with a toddler, there's just nothing easy about it. Now, we have 9 children. We've been homeschooling since our oldest, who's now 17, was in kindergarten. So if I think about it, we've been homeschooling with a toddler for almost our whole time that we've been homeschooling, which is about 12 years. I say that to tell you that it's not easy to homeschool with a toddler, but I think the rewards of homeschooling your kids, the benefits, the close family ties that you have, and the individual time that you get to spend with your kids is so worth any of the challenges that come from homeschooling with a toddler. So the first thing that I would say is to include them. I wouldn't always include them. You really need time individually with your older kids to work with them one-on-one. But when your kids are doing independent work or sitting at the table, maybe when they first get out their schoolwork for the morning and they get started, this is a great time to include your toddler. Give them their own little work box with their, maybe just pencil, paper, crayons, just some things that they can sit there and feel like they are part of the school day. Like they have their own schoolwork and things that they have to accomplish. A lot of times they see their bigger siblings doing things and they want to feel like they're big, like they're a part of it. And so if you include them, this really helps for that. Some moms like to do busy bins, just putting together little bags or bins that have, things that will just keep their attention for a couple minutes, and that can be helpful as well. Another thing is to establish a routine. If you do not have a routine in your house, it's really, really going to help you when you have a toddler. Toddlers thrive on the routine. They want to know what comes next. They may not do as well with a schedule, with set time limits, but they love having just a pattern to their day of waking up, brush their teeth, make their bed, get dressed, breakfast, and then after breakfast we pick up and maybe we go outside or we just have some playtime inside if it's cold. So they thrive on knowing what comes next. And if you can establish a routine for them, that helps them to feel safe in their surroundings and know that they can kind of predict what's coming. One of the greatest things for toddlers is to take them outside. Now, this isn't always possible, especially in the winter months. I mean, we try to get outside every day, even in the winter months, but when it's so cold, our time is limited and we realistically just spend a lot more time indoors. But if the weather permits, taking a toddler outside wears them out. And there's so much outside to just stimulate their minds and their imaginations. They're at the age where they're discovering everything through their senses. So there's so much to see and hear and to experience outside. And taking them outside will just be a huge help for that. If you have a fenced-in yard, this is really nice because they can kind of explore, and maybe you could sit on the deck or at a table somewhere with your older child and help them as needed while you can still keep an eye on the toddler. If you don't have a fenced-in yard, even just sitting out on the deck and somehow blocking it off so that they can't go down the steps or whatever, You can put out just a water table or just little toys that will distract them out there. There's so much for them to see and do. And again, it wears them out, which is really, really nice. One of the biggest things that helped me, and it took me a couple kids to realize this, was to just put things up out of reach. The more kids we had, the more toys and things we accumulated, no matter how much I tried to get rid of things and declutter. There were just a lot of, great things, blocks, Lincoln Logs, Thomas the Train, all those little fun things that will keep their attention for a while, but they're just lots of little pieces. And a toddler finds them and they're going to dump. They're going to just spread the mess. And if you can somehow put them all out of reach, it's going to really, really be an advantage for you. So a couple years ago, I went out and purchased 4 wardrobes, and I just filled them. One day I went down in the basement. My toddler had just dumped everything. It was such a mess. It took me almost an hour to clean it up. So that was the day I went and bought these wardrobes. I put everything in it, and just having a door on it was enough for that toddler to not try. They just didn't see it, and so it was out of mind, and they didn't try to dump it again. If they had gotten into it, I probably would have gotten locks for them, just because it helps so much to only limit what they had out for them to play with. And then with these wardrobes, we still had the toys. I didn't have to get rid of them, but I could pull them out when I wanted them out. I didn't have to go in the basement to find them scattered all over and, having a mess that's going to put me behind an hour in our school day. It also helps you to be able to rotate their toys. They have a short attention span. So if you can limit what things they have access to and kind of switch it around a little bit, it really helps to entertain them. You can also give them snacks in their high chair or booster seat. A mid-morning snack is a great thing to make a part of your routine. And a lot of times a toddler will just sit there for quite a while if they have if they're used to doing that at that same time every day, sitting in the booster seat and just having some snacks and even, maybe a book or a toy or something to play with, it can buy you some time to work one-on-one with your other children. Another thing I did was, this was something that I kind of did in a moment of desperation when I felt like the kids were all around me and they all needed me and my toddler was into just everything. I pulled out a piece of paper and I just started writing everything that I could think of that would keep that toddler entertained. And throughout the day, I just was adding to it. I felt like I couldn't, in the moment, I had so many things on my mind that I couldn't just think of what to pull out at that moment. And having that list was helpful for me because I didn't have to think. I could just look at it. I could go to the next thing or find whatever was on that list that I felt would work and just get it out. And just having it handy was helpful for me. If you're interested in getting my list of busy ideas for toddlers, you can click on the link at the bottom of this video and sign up for my free newsletter, and I can send you the free printable download for my busy ideas for toddlers. One thing that is something that I sometimes forget when I have a toddler is that it can be really helpful to wear a toddler. When I have a baby, I often wear my baby because it just, they want to be held all the time, and putting them in a wrap just helps me to be able to get a lot of things done. But once the baby starts walking and they grow into that toddler phase, I, kind of put that off and the baby's usually down. So this is one that I sometimes forget. And it comes back to me, hey, you can wear this child, when a lot of times toddlers are whiny and just needy, and they like to be worn. They like to go around with you and see what you're doing, follow you as you're working in the kitchen, making lunch, or, as long as you're not staying in one place for too long, they like that. And so this is one that may not seem as obvious and one that I often forget, but just if you have some kind of carrier, it's nice. It'll buy you a little bit of time and help you to get some things done, and it will be something that they enjoy and will make them feel close to you and a part of what you're doing. Another tip is to maximize what you can get done during nap time. So nap time is that golden ticket for the homeschool mom. You want to take advantage of nap time. And, for depending on what phase you're in, what stage of life you're in, what's going on in your house, maybe you want to use the toddler's afternoon nap time to rest. Maybe you want to use it to get housework done. Take advantage of nap time for whatever you need. A lot of times, this was my time to work one-on-one with some of my older kids when maybe I didn't have as much of that time in the morning. I would probably read aloud to them. I might just take them aside and go over their work if there was something they were struggling with. I use nap time to get all those things done. One last thing I want to say is for moms with all younger kids. If all of your kids are young, so maybe your oldest child is in kindergarten or first grade, the thing that I think is really helpful to know is that it does get easier. When you're starting out homeschooling, you're kind of laying the groundwork. It's like you're building the foundation of everything. So you're still finding your rhythm. You're not sure what curriculum works. And then you have a toddler, getting into everything. I remember this stage of my life as being very overwhelming, just because they were all dependent on me and I had no helpers. And so just know that if that is you and all your children are little, it does get better. Homeschooling gets easier. They become more independent. And then the younger ones start learning from the older ones, and you don't have to do as much teaching because you go to teach them and they already know how to do it because they've been watching that older sibling. The housework gets a little bit easier as your older kids get older and learn how to just do a job better by themselves. So if you're a mom with all younger children, just be encouraged that you're probably at the hardest point in your homeschooling journey, and it will get easier. I hope you found this video helpful. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe. I share on here lots of tips and encouragement for homeschooling moms. You can check out my videos about how to homeschool a baby, how to homeschool when you're pregnant. I also have a gallery of mom interviews where you can just follow another homeschooling mom and see how she plans out her day, how she handles challenges. So I have lots of interviews with moms that you can check out by going to OurLifeHomeschooling.com. Have a great day.